You're hearing this not by accident. Maybe you can't sleep. Your heart is weary and your mind is filled with unanswered questions, but know this. In this darkness, you are not alone. There is one who is waiting for you. Not at the end of the road, but right here in this very moment. This is not just a video, this is a sacred appointment between you and heaven, because God does not sleep and He is listening. Welcome to Prayer Station. Father. 2 words light as breath. But to me it's the cry that awakens all of heaven. Not a scripted prayer, not by formula, no witness needed, just me and the pain I don't yet know how to name. When the soul reaches its limit, I've tried everything, tried to be strong, tried to stay cheerful, tried to seem okay. But there comes a moment when I have nothing left to try, only a silence as deep as the abyss and one question. Father, do you see me? In empty streets, in the room where everyone thinks I'm sleeping peacefully. That's where I silently scream inside, if you are Father, then where are you? The whisper from eternity. And then, something strange happened. Not a thunderclap, not a miracle, just a gentleness that didn't belong to this world. A sense that someone was touching my soul, not judging, not rushing to fix, just listening. I am still here. You called me, and I answered. No fancy words needed, no rituals, just a real heart. The beginning of a soul conversation. From that moment on, I no longer prayed as a duty. I started talking to the Father as if someone real were present. When I was tired, I spoke. When I was sad, I spoke. When I didn't know what to say, I still spoke. Because the most beautiful thing isn't perfect words, but a truthful heart exposed before the one who loves me unconditionally. And prayer became a safe place. A place where I didn't have to pretend to be strong. A place where I could be myself. A child returning to the Father's heart. Father, let's begin again. Not to begin life over, but begin again the relationship I once neglected. Begin with exhaustion, from loneliness, from tonight's weary sigh, because I know, if I begin with tears, you will end with healing. And so, tonight I truly prayed for the first time, not needing anything grand, just needing you, Father. There are seasons in life that don't begin with thunder, but with silence. Silence of a heart that has endured too much. Silence of a soul too weary to pray. You don't cry anymore, not because you're stronger, but because you're too tired to shed tears. And then, faith is no longer a blazing fire, but just embers quietly burning inside. Yet in that moment, God doesn't wait for you to be strong again. He comes to where you are broken, not to tell you to rise, but to sit with you in that very brokenness. You thought you had let go, but your heart still holds on. There are things you say you've forgotten, but your heart remembers every detail. You think you've forgiven, but when someone brings it up, your heart still aches like a wound unhealed. That is the exhaustion of someone carrying too many memories they shouldn't. That is a burden not on the shoulders, but in the heart. Something no one sees but slowly brings you to your knees. Cast your burden on the Lord and He will sustain you. You are not called to carry everything that happened. You are called to surrender, but you ask, how do I let go? How do I release it? And God whispers, you don't let go of your strength. You let go by trusting me. Letting go is not failure. Letting go is worship. When you let go, you're saying, Lord, I'm no longer in control, Madama, but I believe you are. I can't heal myself, but you are the healer. I don't understand the reason, but I trust in your faithfulness. And then something strange happens. The problem may not disappear right away. The memories may not fade instantly. But the power the past once held over you is broken. Because you no longer hold it, you've placed it in His hands. My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. It is exactly when you have no strength to move forward, He walks for you. Lord, I lay down what I don't understand. I offer up what I cannot keep. I give you what once broke me, and I believe you will turn it into the most beautiful thing in my life. After you let go, after the memories fall like shattered pieces, after you softly whisper, I won't hold it anymore. Lord, please hold it for me. A strange night begins. No thunder, no dreams, just a night quiet as the breath of God. And on that night, He works. He is repairing what has been broken. When you fall asleep in exhaustion, when you no longer have words to pray, God does not sleep. He does what you cannot do while awake. He steps into the deepest dark places of your soul, and He restores, not rushed, not loud, like a father stitching an old teddy bear for his little child. He mends each piece of your soul with a thread of mercy, for He grants sleep to those He loves. Sleep is not a retreat. Sleep is total surrender. And when you sleep, heaven begins to work. There is a guest by your bedside that night who does not sleep, not worry, not nightmares, but the Holy Spirit. He sits beside you, saying nothing, but He is present. He does not wake you, but He keeps watch. He whispers into your soul things you've never heard while awake. You are not broken. You are just wounded. You are not forgotten. He is healing you, silently. You haven't lost your faith. He is rebuilding it from within. An angel is sent, not to fight, but to guard. Guarding the sleep of a soul being stitched back together. Holding the silence for a heart being reshaped. Not letting any shadow creep into this holy moment. He doesn't need to say anything, because the presence of heaven is enough to drive out all remnants of hell. This is the night of restoration, but no one sees it. You wake up the next morning, no great miracle, no clear sign, but your heart is lighter, your breath is deeper, and your tears no longer as bitter as last night, because something was mended while you slept. Then your light will break forth like the dawn, and your healing will quickly appear. The last whisper of the night, Lord, even if I don't feel anything, even if I don't know what you did last night, I still believe you are healing me in silence and gentleness and grace. No trumpet sounded, no angel appeared in your dream. No radiant light split the darkness like a miraculous tale. But something changed quietly, deeply, like sunrise after a black night. You wake up. The room is the same. The world outside is still loud, unaware of what you've been through, but inside you something collapsed. So something else could be built. I did it when you stopped trying. When you stopped struggling, He began to bandage the wounds. When you had no more words to pray, He whispered into you with His word. Be still. Let me do my part. Be still and know that I am God. And in that stillness, He restored you. No one knew where you were broken. No one saw the cracks behind the smile, behind the words, I'm fine. But the one who formed your bones, He knew exactly where the fracture was and touched it not to hurt, but to heal. He didn't heal with explanations. He didn't use doctrine as a numbing pill. He touched the real pain and stayed there with you until the trembling stopped. I thought I had to do something to deserve healing. But He said, Joel, no, you just need to lie still. I am the healer. Morning came like a breath not forced, not rushed, but certain. Light didn't crash in like lightning. It crept in like a friend, gently opening the door so you could realize you are still loved, still chosen, still led. And at that moment, you didn't need a reason to keep going, because you knew who was holding your hand. Not through logic, but by a soft assurance beyond words. I was there with you when everything seemed to end. Because of the Lord's great love, we are not consumed, for his compassions never fail. They are new every morning. Great is your faithfulness. You were not only healed, you were made new. Your soul no longer breathes fear. It begins to inhale life, real life, not from success, not from others, but from the one who placed breath in you from the beginning. And he says, no, today you don't have to prove anything, because I've already proven my love by simply being there last night. I was there and I'm still here, and I will walk with you till the end. Say nothing. Just step out of bed and as a living proof of God's silent miracle. Sometimes the greatest miracle isn't a spectacular sign, but the moment you dare to step out of the room where you once collapsed. No one standing outside to applaud, no music playing like a climax, but there's a door open, silent, patient, waiting until you're no longer afraid of the light. See, I have placed before you an open door that no one can shut. God doesn't open the door to take you back. He leads you into an entirely new beginning, not to repeat, not to fix an old version, but to resurrect you into a destiny that had never been activated. There were things you once dreamed of, but God has things beyond what you ever dared to hope for. You used to think you missed the best. You used to wonder, maybe God only uses those who haven't made mistakes like me. But today, he opens the door no one expected, for the one who thought they'd been left behind. It's not a reward. It's grace sent right on time for a soul that was broken and is now being restored. You step out, not with strength, but with a small, honest faith. You don't need to understand everything. You just need to believe that God is going ahead of you. He says, follow me. Don't look back. I'm not leading you to what once broke. I'm leading you to where what I placed in you will bloom. Destiny doesn't die in the valley. It only waits for you to rise to finally live. The door is opened. Not because you were good enough, but because God still has a plan. See, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs up. Do you not perceive it? I am making a way in the wilderness and streams in the wasteland. You are not who you used to be. You are living proof that God's grace is stronger than regret. Take a step, then another. Even if you're trembling, because every step is the resurrection of a destiny hell tried to bury. You are no longer a failure. You are a survivor, called to live stronger than ever before. Some things you thought were the end, but in God's hands it's only a comma in a story being rewritten. You are not defined by your mistakes. You are being redefined by the one who forgave you. I have seen your tears. I know you once believed in me, then broke when you couldn't understand my silence, but today, I'm not here to interrogate. I'm here to heal. Memories, when left untouched, become a prison. You once hid tears in your prayers. You once smiled on the outside and trembled inside, and you once thought, I don't deserve to believe again. But God didn't come to punish you for doubting. He came to wash the soul that once fought alone. Cleanse me with hyssop, and I will be clean. Wash me, and I will be whiter than snow. Memories no longer frighten you. when you dare to bring them into the light of the one who truly loves you. God doesn't erase your past. He touches it, redefines it, and uses it as a witness to His glory. Rebirth of faith is not returning to where you were. It's stepping into something new with a heart touched by forgiveness. No one can understand how you stood up again, but heaven knows, because there was a Jesus who knelt where you fell. He says, "You once believed in me, then feared me." But today I invite you to believe again, not because everything is clear, but because this love has never left. Every lie you've heard, "I'm not enough," "It's too late," "I'm too filthy," now washed clean in the name of the one who died in your place. Therefore, if anyone is in Christ, they are a new creation. The old has passed away. Behold, all things have become new. You no longer live to prove anything. You live because you've been touched, forgiven, chosen. You are not just forgiven, you are being invited not just to live again, but to step in. Not just the healed, but the one who is summoned. I'm not just opening the door, I'm calling your name, not with a voice, but with the unrest stirring deep in your soul. There is a call echoing, not outside your ears, but inside your soul. It is a call not from man, not limited by religion, not shaped by rules, but the call of the living one, reaching those who died in their faith. Behold, I stand at the door and knock. If anyone hears my voice and opens the door, I will come in and dine with them and they with me. Have you ever heard that voice? Not loud, but it tightens your heart. Not forceful, but impossible to ignore. That's when you know. He is knocking at the deepest part of you. The holy place is not a temple made of stone. It is where your soul is drawn into His presence and no longer wants to run. You may have avoided His presence because you felt unworthy, but now you step in, not because you're perfect, but because you are called. God doesn't wait until you're good enough to call. His calling is what begins to make you new. You once thought, God chooses others, not me. But you didn't know. The very wound you hate the most is where He wants to place His glory. My presence will go with you and I will give you rest. The holy place is not for the perfect, it is for the crushed who dare to return. And here comes the question echoing through your soul. Are you ready to step in? Not with your feet, but with a heart that has softened? The next part will be a turning point, when His presence begins to pause before you, when God Himself lays His hand on you and sends you. You used to sing about Him. You used to pray through tears. But this time, He is the one drawing near. You are not worshiping a distant God. You are trembling before a God closer than your next breath. This is not the time to feel God anymore. This is the time you can no longer hide from His presence. When He places His hand on your name, titles lose their meaning. Roles no longer keep you steady. You are simply a soul, being seen by Him. Woe to me, I am ruined, for I am a man of unclean lips, and I live among a people of unclean lips, and my eyes have seen the King, the Lord Almighty. Falling is not failure. Falling is what happens when a soul truly faces the Holy One. No one truly stands firm when God steps close, not because He instills fear, but because His holiness strips away every layer we used to hide. Do you remember the last time you trembled in His presence? Not because of emotion, but because you knew. He just called your name, not my child, not that one, but your name, whole and unedited, as He knew it before you were born. The shepherd calls his sheep by name and leads them out. He doesn't call you because you're worthy. He calls you because your name is engraved in his hand. See, I have engraved your name on the palms of my hands. And when he places his hand on your name, every gate of hell that ever called you by another name will go silent. Everything that ever strangled your spirit will have to let go. There is nothing left but you and him, no one in between, no more reasons to stay standing. Only one response: worship and fall before him. For this is where the broken are anointed, and those who thought their names were forgotten are called again. Are you ready for the next part? Because the sequel won't be just about you anymore. It's when he sends you out with a new name and a new mission. You were not just forgiven. You were not just touched. You were chosen not to stay behind, not to forever remember the moment you fell, but to rise with a new name and be sent out. They will see his face and his name will be on their foreheads. Your name used to be the wounded one, the not enough, the one hiding behind fragile faith. But now, the name on your forehead is not given by man but engraved by heaven. Go throughout the city and mark a sign on the foreheads of those who grieve and lament. You were marked, not to escape pain, but to carry a commission, a command from heaven. Do not live the same, do not speak the same, do not love halfway, because you carry a name that cannot be erased, that cannot be smeared, that cannot be faked by demons. You used to step into battle with your name. Now you walk with his name. No longer I will try, but the one I worship sends me. We are ambassadors of Christ, as though God were making his appeal through us. You are sent not because you are strong, but because you know what it means to fall. You are called not because you are impressive, but because you know the one who laid his hand on you. And when you go, hell knows the name on your forehead, because it burns with the fire of the one who never changes. You are no longer a victim. You are a sign of visitation. Every step you take, it is a silent prophecy. God is still sending his own. How beautiful are the feet of those who bring good news. And now, you understand why he didn't let you die in that dark valley. Because he needed you to live, to go, to speak, to awaken others. I have called you by name. You are mine. You once walked through unnamed valleys. You once ignored the voice in the wind. You once thought, maybe he forgot me. Maybe I'm not worthy. But amid all that silence, there was a voice, and it knew your name. The shepherd calls his sheep by name and leads them out. This is not a journey to find peace. This is a return to recognize yourself in heaven's gaze. You are no longer just a survivor. You are the one called by name, among millions of voices, among the chaos of the world. Some know a lot about God, but only the ones called by name truly know him. You heard, you trembled, you fell to your knees, and now you rise with a holy conviction. I know who called me, and I cannot go back. I know whom I have believed, and I am convinced that he can guard what I have entrusted to him until that day. Your new identity is no longer written on paper, no longer a passing feeling during worship. It's in your blood, in your breath, in every decision you make from this day forward. You don't need the applause of the world. You don't need the approval of those who once turned away. You only need one thing. The one who called your name is still looking at you. And that's where this story closes. Not because it's over, but because you've picked up the sword and started a new chapter. And if you've made it to the end of this video, This isn't a coincidence. This is a divine appointment. He is calling you, not to hear another emotional video, but to step out with a life sealed by his name. Comment: I know he called my name. If that's what you feel right now. And if this story has touched you, share it with someone else, because maybe their name is being called too. Don't forget to follow, because Prayer Station will keep telling more stories where your soul will continue to awaken.